The King and Queen will begin what's been dubbed the awkward tour when they arrive in Australia tomorrow. There have already been concerns that some states' leaders will snub the royals, and even the Prime Minister is a committed Republican. But that doesn't mean they won't be made to feel welcome, as our royal editor Chris Shipp reports from Sydney.
Since the convoy of the First Fleet discovered Sydney Harbour in 1788, only one Australian monarch has ever been here. But tomorrow, Australia will receive its second as King Charles arrives in this realm. His mother, Queen Elizabeth, sailed into Sydney Harbour in 1954 and set foot on Australian soil, something an Australian head of state had never done before.
I want to tell you all how much I look forward to my journey through Australia.
The view from the top of Sydney Harbour Bridge that day must have been quite something. When Queen Elizabeth first sailed into Sydney Harbour down there 70 years ago, it's estimated half the population of Sydney came here to see her. Of course, for King Charles tomorrow, when he arrives in Australia for the first time as monarch, there's likely to be much less of a frenzy. But then, these are very different times. Fast forward 70 years and Australia's Prime Minister is a committed Republican. In other words, he'd like to replace the King.
I'm not sure if we'll be seeing a referendum anytime soon in Australia.
But after the Labor government here lost a referendum on Indigenous peoples last year, plans to hold one on the monarchy were kicked into the long grass.
As a Labor government, we're Republicans, but we're also looking forward to welcoming the King and Queen. Why wouldn't we want to show off our beautiful city?
And it's a city where you don't have to look hard to find links to the British crown. Is it time to have an elected head of state?
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. I also think that the older generation maybe has a stronger connection, and also English families, maybe a stronger connection to the monarchy.
But even those of a different generation, like this couple, have different views.
And that doesn't mean that we're alienated against the UK or the monarchy itself. I just don't think we need it, that's all.
It's just time to move on.
Time to grow up.
Whereas I don't think that.
It's not harmony in your household, is it, on this matter?
And we have, functioning democracy
Yeah.
at the moment. So
stick with the status quo.
Stick with the status quo.
The King and Queen will experience the temperature of this debate for themselves tomorrow. Chris Shipp, ITV News, Sydney.